everything's boiling over when it comes to the BCS. Who belongs to be in? Ohio State, Auburn, Florida State, if they win, of course, they're in. Does Alabama still have an argument to get in? And what about Michigan State? Mark Dantonio at his pre-championship game press conference asking that of the media. What about Michigan State?
No, it's about us. Absolutely, it's about us. It's not about them. We have to play them. We'll confine our thoughts to who we are and what we're trying to do. So we're going to try and go to the Rose Bowl. That's our goal number 2. If we're, or when we, or however you want to put this, if we're 12-1 at the end of the week, why not us?
Love Mark Dantonio. Think he's done an amazing job. Big Ten Coach of the Year. I'm going to tell you why not us right now. Because Michigan State is number 10. A win, do they deserve to jump over Baylor and South Carolina? Yes. Do they deserve to jump over Stanford if Stanford beats Arizona State in the Pac-12 championship game? I say yes because Stanford has 2 losses. Let's say Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State. Why do you still not go? Because look at all the teams ahead of you. Auburn's 1 loss is to LSU. Missouri's 1 loss is to South Carolina, and Alabama's 1 loss is to Auburn. I understand Mark Dantonio making this case. I think he's making it to fire up his team. I think that he understands the reality. The numbers simply make this very close to being impossible.
There's no question that every time a coach takes to the podium, he's talking not only to the media, but to his team. One of my favorite moments of all season was Mark Dantonio's quarterback question press conference.
Yes.
That was Saturday Night Live. He was talking to his team, saying that I'm not going to make this an issue. If they want to get after the quarterback, they're going to have to do it through me, so on and so forth. But, Rick, I disagree with what you said for this reason. They should, if you're right now they should already be ahead of Stanford because Stanford has 2 losses. South Carolina has 2 losses.
I don't disagree with either one of those things.
They should also be ahead of them. Baylor only has 10 wins. Oklahoma State only has 10 wins. So the answer isn't what you said. The answer, I think, is more big picture. It's not slow start, right? We can't blame it on slow start because Auburn wasn't ranked just like Michigan State. It's a Big Ten issue. It's perception of the conference. It's not having these big games in September. Every time we talk about Florida State, we talk about Clemson. September Clemson. Because November Clemson isn't as good as September Clemson. And so I think Mark Dantonio is talking big picture. I mean, it's arbitrary. I mean, why shouldn't it be Michigan State? You might say because the losses were different or the wins were different. He would say, you know, we may have beaten Notre Dame. We may have been undefeated if it wasn't a couple calls here and there. We can justify and talk about our schedule all we want. I think it's a stylistic question. I think people are hooked on the spread offense. I think people are hooked on the SEC and how good they are. I love the SEC. I enjoy the SEC. The SEC is a great conference, but I think it's overstated this year. Missouri hasn't won a Big 12 championship in who knows how long. Last year, Missouri had a losing season. And now Saturday they're playing for the SEC championship.
I just think it's going to be awfully tough. The winner of the Missouri-Auburn game, in my mind, there's no way Michigan State could possibly jump ahead of them.
That's not his point.
I understand that's not his point. I'm answering the question, why not us? That's the reason why. If you want to complain about the BCS, you want to complain about how far Michigan State fell after the Notre Dame loss, I'm on that bandwagon with you. I'm just saying, why not us? That's why. That's because this is how this system, this year at least, this is how it's run.
I think the question is more big picture. I think your answer being so specific about those teams is absolutely true. I mean, if I was voting right now from what I've seen, it wouldn't be them. I understand. But the question is a great question. Why not a one-loss Michigan State over a one-loss Auburn?
Sure.
Because you decided that when they lost to LSU, who's lost 3 games, when they beat Georgia on the last play of the game, and when they beat Alabama on a play that has never happened in the history of college football, why not Michigan State? Why is the Alabama win anything better? Michigan State couldn't have done that the night they played Alabama. Alabama didn't play very good that night.
So Mark Dantonio wins the Coach of the Year. We can't assume that Urban Meyer finished second. Those results are not officially released, but we can certainly ruminate that he was among the top 3. I think that's fair to say. He did it in a complete different manner, did it with a much different roster, but at the end of the day, Gerry, he has won 24 straight games to start his Ohio State career. Say what you will about Urban. Say what you will about his players. Say what you will about the schedule in the Big Ten. No one can take away the fact that heading into this game, he is undefeated.
Yeah, and nobody can take away the fact that these two coaches have done great jobs this year under incredibly different circumstances. And that's why if you had 2 awards, these would probably be the 2 guys to get them. What do we say about Michigan State? Michigan State was kind of like an afterthought in the legends, okay? It was Northwestern, the rising Northwestern. It was Michigan. It was Nebraska. Michigan State was, how are they going to score points? They have a great defense, but where are they offensively? He put this team together and grew this team as well as any coach has ever done that. And then Urban, what did we say going into the season? Yeah, they're the most talented team, but nobody goes undefeated.
He can't go unbeaten again.
He's going to get upset. You know, his team's not going to be up for every game. And so these 2 guys, under incredibly different circumstances, have done the best coaching jobs of all the coaches in the Big Ten.
And that's why their teams are in the Big Ten
Both
championship
undefeated.
game. It's synergistic. It all comes around.